It's a very quick video on how to open a novel. And when we look at this, we're going to be looking at it from the author's side and also the reader's side. So our goals today are to understand the analytical strategy of identifying motifs and elements of style as you first take your initial look at the novel, and to analyze the text and prioritize elements of style. All right, so a couple of metaphors are going to help us understand this analytical strategy, and I hope you'll bear with me here. In writing a book, it's like the author constructs a mansion for us, and he or she is going to take us into that mansion and show us the rooms of the house. We as readers are going to spend some time in that mansion, the pages which are the pages of the book, and the rooms are the book's motifs. So when we look at poetry, we know that poems are generally built around stanzas, and stanza is the Italian word for room. When we go into the stanza of a poem, we're going in there, we're going to kind of knock about in that stanza and spend some time dwelling in that, trying to figure out the meaning of the stanza by really tossing and chewing over the language of it. And that is very similar to what we're going to do in a literary novel. Now, not every novel is going to, this will not be true for every novel. Some novels are just plot, and there it is. But for literary novels, this is going to be a good strategy for us to use. So another way of looking at it is this. The author opens the door to the novel. There we are in the entranceway to the house, maybe the foyer, and the author lays out a calling card on the table for us to pick up as we enter. And there might be multiple calling cards. So we as people in society don't leave a card. If we visit someone and they're not home, we just text them, and whoever it is that we texted opens that text whenever they feel like it, not necessarily when they get it. But in the old days, especially when the novel that we're going to take a look at today, especially in Emma's day, she would have left a calling card with her name on it to say, hey, I called for you and you weren't home. So instead of leaving their name, authors leave a calling card with a motif on it or a mini theme on it. And those cards are going to be lying about the house, the pages of the book for us to pick up. We might even extend this to say that these motifs are like breadcrumbs, to go to the Hansel and Gretel fairy tale that the author is leaving for us to pick up as we read the novel. So the author teaches us, not the us, I'll get rid of that, but teaches us how to approach the novel. They lay out major motifs, takes his or her tools out of the box, and sharpens them as well. So we're not just looking for major motifs in the book, but we're also looking out for the elements of style, the tools of the trade that this particular author is going to be using throughout the novel. And many times authors don't just use their tools of the trade, their style, in just this specific novel. They use them across the novels, all the novels that they've written. All right, so let's take a look now at the first chapter of Emma, and you have this on your assignment for today. Here it is, the first line: Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever, and rich, with a comfortable home and happy disposition, seemed to unite some of the best blessings of existence, and had lived nearly 21 years in the world with very little to distress or vex her. This is a great opening to a novel, and it's great because immediately we know that Emma is going to be a book that's focused on class hierarchies. We know that because Emma has everything you would ever want. She is handsome, which is, beautiful. She's very clever, so she's smart. She's rich. She has a comfortable home. She's happy. She's, there's no reason for her to have any conflict at all. But because we're starting out with this, we know that there will indeed be conflict. And we know, because she's being portrayed at the top of the social heap, that there is going to be strata beneath that and thus we have that class hierarchy developed. So that's, on this slide you see over here one of the motifs. Class structure will be a theme that we're going to be looking at in this book. An element of style that we see here, excuse me, is she was the youngest of the 2 daughters of a most affectionate, indulgent father, and had, in consequence of her sister's marriage, been mistress of his house from a very early period. We're going to see in this opening page some very direct characterization. Many times we say to writers, especially, all writers know that it's best to show, not tell. But we can't always show and not tell. And here we see that Jane Austen is very directly telling us he was an affectionate father, he was an indulgent father. We'll see that develop through the rest of the novel. But direct characterization is one of the elements of style that you can see very clearly on this opening page. All right, now, so what I'm going to ask you to do is go to your Google Doc, make a copy. You're going to be looking for the elements of style and the motifs in Emma in the opening page or pages. So I would like you to rank in the elements of style as you see them there, and then you're going to be turning your attention to those first couple of pages, the 5 opening pages of The Great Gatsby, and you're going to do the same thing for that. Do it all on that Google Doc, and I hope you enjoy this. This is a really excellent technique of analysis that is the first one that we're going to do in class, and you will be doing it constantly. You'll find this really valuable. All right, thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.